Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video you'll see an unboxing of KRONDYS, Son of Dracothian for the Stormcast Eternals. I'll be taking you through all the contents of the box, building the model, talking over a few points that I picked up while building it, and then comparing it to some other models so you can get a really good idea of just how big this model is and how it'll fit in with your army. But looking at the box here, you've got two options. You can build him as Karazai, the Scarred, or as KRONDYS, and I'm going for the KRONDYS version because I just think it looks awesome. This is the first step in my new army build where I'm going with the Stormcast Eternal army, starting from 600 points, working up on a path to glory, and KRONDYS is going to be the first model that I've unboxed for that army, so really excited to get going with this project. It's going to be the New Year army for me, so can't wait. But here we are, let's get this film off and we'll have a look at all the contents of this great looking box. If you're starting any new projects or a new army build for 2023, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to know what you're up to. But here we are, let's get this open. Here's the tab, and you can see they've got the Stormcast Eternal logo on there. I like it when they do that, nice little touch. And then as we open it up, this is going to come in a tray, so it's all going to be nicely organised. And we'll pull that out there. And on the top, you can see we've got our instruction book. And then there's going to be quite a few sprues in here. We've got a couple of options for the build. Mostly the heads are where they're going to differ, though. The wings are pretty much the same. So we've got that instruction book. And then we've got a nice big chunky piece of terrain there. That's going to go on the base. And then you can see some of the wing components. And then the two big wing parts there. And the biggest base I've gotten so far in the game. This is huge. We'll be measuring that up so you can get a good idea of how big that is too. Here's the ruler. Let's see. So going across, we're looking at, what, 160 mil? So yeah, good chunky base, that one. That's going to be massive on the tabletop. Now we've got everything out of the box, we'll have a good look through the instruction manual so you get a good idea of how it's laid out, and then we'll have a close-up look at all the sprues. Before we do that though, I'd like to say huge thanks to today's sponsor, which is me and my game Weekend Warriors, the ultimate tabletop skirmish game to play with your kids. I'll put a link down below if you'd like to check out this book. It's miniature agnostic, genre agnostic, and a great way to introduce new players, young and old, to this awesome hobby. If you'd like to check out the book and support the channel, then just follow the links below to Amazon and Wargamer Vault, and if you buy the print copy, you'll get the PDF for free. Okay, let's get back to KRONDYS. So here's that huge base, 160 mil, not messing around at all there. And then here's the first sprue. So this is a really big chunky piece that's going to be the main support for this beast of a model. And loads of detail going on as we would expect here. And it looks really nice. So that's going to be great to paint up. I'm going for an autumn theme with my Stormcast Eternal. And I'll be painting this guy black with like a fire autumn colours within the insert of his wings. And so this is going to be covered in leaves and all sorts to kind of tie in with that, which is going to be really fun. We're also getting to see one of the heads there. That could be for Karazai the Scarred, I think, maybe. Not sure yet. We'll have to have a look at the instruction book before we can make our minds up on that one. And then here we've got the main parts of the wings, two really large pieces. And then you can see there, not too much texture on the wings. So definitely the airbrush is going to be nice for painting this, I think. And then some, maybe a bit of dry brushing, and then just putting some shade in to get in those recesses. But they are quite smooth, those wings. So it's going to be interesting to see how that takes. But I think doing a nice blend with the airbrush from red to orange to yellow is going to be a nice way to go. The scales look great. They're going to be nicely done with some black and then dry brushing up with like Reaper and some really dark blues and maybe a little bit of grey as a highlight. And I'll do some experimentation first. I'll be making a video on that as well if you'd like to check that out later on. Here's the next sprue, and here we can see one of the wings that's folded up. That's really nicely done. So I like what they've done there. And then another one that's really opened up. Again, quite large flat areas, so you want to be careful with the paint style you choose for that for sure. But yeah, all these scales on the rest of the body I think are going to come up really nicely with just a really simple paint scheme, dry brushing the stages up to get a nice highlight. So there we are, and that's it. So really, only those two large sprues, one half sprue, a massive base. Now we can have a look at the book. So the book's in A4, and this is going to give you all the instructions for the two variations, KRONDYS or KRONDYS the Scarred, and you can see there that it's pretty much the same. The heads are certainly going to be different, and then a couple of the claws as well on how they attach to the base. But otherwise you're going to be following most of the instructions from this first section, going through getting the bulk of the model built up with the wings and everything on there, and then you'll be assembling the base. And now we're moving into KRONDYS here, so you can see how he goes together. He's also got the armor, the amulets and everything. So I was in two minds whether to include those in the build or not. I did in the end, because I thought it's a dragon wizard, we got to make him look pretty bling, and I think it's going to look really cool having that on there. So that's really nice. And then this section is going to take you through the variations for KRONDYS, and you can see on that page there's an extra piece of terrain that you'll put down, and his claw is going to go onto that. And that's it. It looks like a pretty straightforward build from the instruction book, and then on the back you've got all the different stats and the war scroll there, so you can have a good look. But you certainly want to be getting the book or finding a better resource online. So now we've had a look at all the contents, it's time to build the model. So I'll see you back here in a second, and then we'll have a look at how he compares in size to other models. And here's KRONDYS all assembled now, and I've got to say this was a real easy build. I was a bit concerned about how the wings were going to go on and how strong that would be, but it was really easy. I literally didn't have any problems at all with any of the assembly. It all went together really simply. There was one error though on one of the pages. When you get to the KRONDYS head section, it tells you need part 31, but it's actually labelled as part 32 on the sprue. So just be aware of that if you are going to be picking up. There is a little bit of an error there. Now we can get in and have a closer look at some of the details. I mean, the head just looks fantastic. It's got so much character. I really like the style they went with for the dragon. Very much reminds me of Dragonheart, that kind of thing. So yeah, real majestic looking beast. I think it's going to be great to have this heading up the army. And then all the details. I'm glad I put the armour on now. It does suit him for sure. But I still think he would look good without it. Then on the back, you've got some really nice scales there going down the spine, and you can see how it changes into the wings. Not quite so much detail, some larger, flatter areas, but I think dry brushing is the way to go. But here's a good one with a light on there, so you can really get a good look at the textures. And he's just got his head face planted into the mat there. Then we've got the terrain at the bottom, really nicely done. Again, some leaves on that in an autumn style. It's going to look really good. Let's do a size comparison now, and here you've got the Stormdrake Guard, which you can see are a little bit taller actually, the one on the right, but it's about 18 centimetres tall altogether at the highest point. So yeah, it's pretty big. Not as big as I thought it was going to be, if I'm honest though. So I was a little bit disappointed in the size. I thought for the price this would be a little bit taller. But you can see here next to a couple of the other models, and here next to this massive CYCLAIRE, he's almost the same size. From this horn to the top of that rock is the same, the wing just a little bit more. So I thought it'd be towering over that. So yeah, I was a bit shocked by that. I thought it would be bigger or have a bit more presence. The board is huge, and overall it's taking up a lot of area, but I just thought it would have a bit more height to it. Here's a couple of other bigger models from 40k, from the Tyranids, just to give you an idea if that's more your thing and you were thinking of crossing over into Age of Sigmar. This might give you a good idea of the size. Now let's talk about the price. So this is £95, the full RRP, and you certainly want to be getting up to 20% discount on that price, because I feel 95 is way too high for what's included. As much as I love the model and everything that's got into it, I just think it's a bit overpriced. Now I got mine from the Little Shop DVD and Games, and with a great discount there, which makes it much more affordable. Links down below in the description. But when you start comparing it to some other companies, like this model here, for example, which isn't too far off in size, this is a Phoenix from Archon Studio. This is only going to set you back $31, and for me, there's not much difference between these two models. Back to back, you can see the wingspan is pretty large on both of them when it's fanned out. Yes, it is smaller, that Phoenix, but for $31 compared to £95, a big difference. In most times, and most things I buy from Games Workshop, I can justify the cost from all the design and everything that's gone into it. It's not just the plastic you're buying, not just the model, it's all the design and the process behind that. But for me, this time, it does feel like it's way too much for what you get. So a bit of a shame, but I am happy to have it in the collection. but I definitely won't be picking up another one to build as Karazai or anything like that. Apart from the price, I'm really happy with this model. I think it's going to be a fantastic centerpiece and really fun to paint as well. It's going to be challenging to get those wings done nicely with the airbrush, so really looking forward to giving that a go, and a great way to start the project. So look out for more videos about this Stormcast Eternals army coming soon. It's about time I got playing Age of Sigmar properly. I've tried a few times, haven't got into it, but now our local game club, we're playing a Path to Glory campaign, starting off at 600 points, working our way up, and I think this is a great way to learn any game, and that's what's really changed the hobby for me this year in 2022, has been joining the club and playing games every week. It really inspires you to and motivates you to get your models painted up, assembled, and learn the rules properly. And I can't wait to look at this book, because this is laid out really nicely, the way they've done it, with all the numbers for each of the sections, the little notes down the side, and it's a beautiful book, one of my favourites to look through. And I've given it a go in the past on my own, but now I'm properly motivated, as we will be playing every week or so can't wait to get started with that in the new year. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this unboxing video of KRONDYS, and look out for the Thunderstrike Spearhead unboxing video coming soon as well. I've also got these nice dice that I'll include in that, so you can have a good look at those. As I go through the rules properly, I'll also be doing some videos about how you might like to start your own army and taking you through the steps from building it, and this Path to Glory process, how that's going to work. So I think that's a great way to get going. Thanks so much for watching the video, hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification bell too to join me here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. A big thanks to Tabletop Star for supporting the channel this month. Check out their website, the link's down below in the description. This is a great place to meet people in your area who like to play games as much as you do, so really awesome idea. And of course, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for being there right from the beginning, helping me to keep going with these daily videos. If you'd like to join the Patreon supporters, that link's in the description there down below too. I'd love to see you there.